What's up guys, Metapunk here. Today I'm going to be talking about the new ISO 20022 standard and how it's going to change the way we move and receive value. Also how cryptocurrency is going to play a big role in this new financial mandate. ISO 20022 is an open global standard for financial information. It provides consistent, rich, and structured data that can be used for every kind of financial business transaction. So why you should adopt it now for cross-border payments. Starting in November 2022, the way the SWIFT community exchanges payment messages will be transformed with ISO 20022. This will unlock huge opportunities for financial institutions, such as boosting operational efficiency, enhancing customer experience, and enabling innovative and new services. So why ISO 20022? ISO 20022 is richer, better structured, and more granular data. Quality data means quality payments. Improved analytics with less manual intervention. Supporting end-to-end automation. It uses modern technology, and it's going to be adopted worldwide. Alright, so this is the timeline for the ISO 20022 for cross-border payments and reporting. So this was actually decided in 2018. Approximately 90% of the community voted for SWIFT to mandate the migration to ISO 20022 for payments and reporting. And as you can see here, August 2022, the early adopters can actually go live with this service. And November 2022 is when it really goes live for the general public that has access to this. So CBPR messages with central interoperability measures, including the inflow translation service, becomes generally available on the FinPlus Live service. This marks the start of the coexistence period for cross-border payments and cash reporting messages. This milestone requires a mandatory messaging interface upgrade and RMA authorizations to be in place. And as you can see, this mandate actually ends in 2025. So basically, the MT system is our current system that we have now, and then ISO and MX is going to be the new one. So all messages supporting cross-border payments and reporting messages are retired from the Fin many-to-many service to the new MX coexistence. All right, so this is literally the a graph of the timeline. So as you can see, the sender right here sends a normal ISO 20022 message, and then through the inflow, it's going to get converted into an MT message right to the receiver. So it's very simple and very easy to use. Okay, so I have another article on the official SWIFT website. So sources of friction in cross-border payments. There are a number of reasons why cross-border payments may be delayed or held up. Firstly, not all account balances can be updated outside the operating hours of a local settlement system. Delays can also arise if compliance checks need to be carried out, especially when a payment passes through different countries and jurisdictions. So yeah, now with ISO, it's 24/7. It's global, so it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what kind of different messaging language you have. It's all unanimous with each other. So I think it's gonna really free up a lot of friction and speed things up. Alright, now it's time to get into the digital asset side of this. So connecting digital islands, paving the way for global use of CBDCs and tokenized assets. Our groundbreaking new innovation lays a path for digital currencies and tokenized assets to integrate seamlessly with the world's existing financial ecosystem. New technology continues to disrupt the financial landscape, but with multiple players building different solutions on different technology platforms, it's easy to imagine the digital financial ecosystem consisting of digital islands, disjointed systems that can't interact with one another. But in pioneering new experiments, we've shown how our existing infrastructure can be used to join up multiple distributed ledger technology platforms with each other, as well as with existing payment systems. The results mean that CBDCs and tokenized assets could potentially be integrated into the financial ecosystem without causing disruption. All right, this next article is from HSBC. It's the 10x potential of tokenization. So if we go over here, what is asset tokenization? The financial services industry is waking up to the transformative potential of DLT. It is estimated that $1.7 billion per year is currently spent on DLT in financial services globally. The World Economic Forum estimates that up to 10% of the global GDP will be stored and transacted via DLT by 2027. Tokenized markets could potentially be worth as much as $24 trillion by 2027. So as you can see here, you see half a trillion, 1 trillion, 2 trillion, 4 trillion by 2022. And then basically when ISO goes live, you see a significant jump in the rise of tokenization. So it shows that this really is going to play a big role. All right, so I quickly want to add this in here for the people that don't know what DLT is. So distributed ledger technology, or DLT, refers to the technological infrastructure and protocols that allows simultaneous access, validation, and record updating in an immutable manner across a network that spreads across multiple entities or locations. DLT, more commonly known as the blockchain technology that was introduced by Bitcoin, is now a buzzword in the technology world, given its potential across industries and sectors. In simple words, the DLT is all about the idea of a decentralized network against the conventional centralized mechanism, and it is deemed to have a far-reaching implication on sectors and entities that have long relied upon a trusted third-party system. So in my opinion, I think that we're going to have a lot of these decentralized networks, or DLTs, and it says here they're going to go against the centralized system, but I really think they're going to interconnect with one another to make the system better. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a graph of the ISO compliant cryptocurrencies. So as you can see here, we have IOTA, HBAR, Quant, Algorand, XDC, XRP, and Stellar Lumens. And actually with Quant, it's ISO TC307. That actually has its own standard. But I also want to throw in, they have DAG here. Constellation DAG. It's not 100% confirmed as well. Hedera is not confirmed 100%, but they still all have the capability of being in the system, in my opinion. And you can also throw Cypherium in here. That's like another one that doesn't really get talked about. Alright, so as you can see here, we have the assets themselves: XRP, XLM, HBAR, IOTA, Algo, and XDC, and then the companies behind them: Ripple, Stellar, Hedera, IOTA, Algorand, and Zinfin. And this actually shows the private blockchains as well. So you have R3 Corda, Interledger, Hyperledger. You have Circle USDC, JP Morgan. So yeah, it's a really interesting graph to look at. And you have Quant right here, which is going to be the one that's going to connect all this together. So Quant is definitely going to play a big role. I think a lot of people sleep on Quant. And actually, I want to throw in Cardano. I think Cardano is going to be part of this as well. Alright, so I pulled up a tweet from XX on Twitter. You should follow him if you haven't already. He posts a lot of really good information. So yeah, it shows the assets right here, like we showed beforehand. It shows the use case. So Ripple, an agnostic exchange token for institutional value in bulk settlements. Stellar XLM, cross-border DeFi payments, which are peer-to-peer and business-to-business remittances. And then you have Zinfin XDC, roll trade and institutional value, and DDoC contracts. So basically a lot of trade finance. And then you have your Algorand, which are decentralized applications plus smart contract network. Algorand is actually my personal favorite. I think XRP has the most potential, but Algorand will still always be my favorite. And then you have IOTA, which is machine-to-machine data autonomy plus Internet of Things data and cross-border digital identities. So yeah, and another cool thing about this, it shows that these assets may be backed by the value of these precious metals. So whatever the value of gold is, XRP might be priced in or more depending on what else is, put into the XRP ledger. And then you have XLM backed by silver, XDC in copper, Algorand in palladium, and IOTA in iridium. So I think the rumor it may be the asset itself, or maybe like a private digital currency that runs on one of these ledgers. They will be backed by gold, silver, or whatever is destined to be on that project. And another thing to look at, you see the Basel 3 and Basel 4 initiative, which is something else I really want to talk about. I'm going to make a separate video on the Basel initiatives, Bretton Woods 3, basically like the new world that's happening, run by precious metals. BRICS nations, they definitely are ahead in my opinion. Also we have IMF, BIS, World Economic Forum. Just a lot of stuff going on in this graph. And if you really deep dive into this, it all comes together, which is really interesting. Okay, so the chart I showed you in the last slide, those are the public blockchains. And then right here, we have the private ones. So we have Hyperledger, Quorum, and R3 Corda. And basically the private blockchains, they are permission blockchains, which means that participation in the network is restricted and not anyone can be part of the blockchain. A governing entity allows the entry of participants in the blockchain and also decides the permissions of the other nodes and peers. So, instead of the ones I showed you before, they're all basically ran by the people. They all have a general consensus that bring agreement to the network. But the private ones, so it may be like a bank or institution that have full control of what goes in and out, what consensus everything is. So, I would compare these to like CBDCs as well. Because, once you're part of a CBDC network, people like me and you have no say of what happens. They have full control of how they want to distribute your money and how you're going to spend it. All right, so now we're going to do a quick deep dive into these public blockchains. So the first one I'm going to show you is XRP, utility for the new global economy. Fast and green. The digital asset XRP was built to be the most practical cryptocurrency for applications across the financial services space. This open source, permissionless, and decentralized technology is carbon neutral and fast, settling transactions in 3 to 5 seconds. So yeah, basically when you see open source, permissionless, and decentralized, just go back to the thought of DLT or distributed ledger technology. So here's some benefits of XRP. Fast settlement times, 3 to 5 seconds, very low cost, fractions of a penny per transaction. It's pretty scalable with 1,500 transactions per second, 24/7. And I think this is going to be a lot bigger number once like the full utility of XRP goes live with RippleNet and on-demand liquidity, which is something else I'm going to deep dive in on another video. XRP is very stable. 70 million transactions were completed. Very sustainable. 61,000 times more energy efficient than proof of work blockchains. So proof of work, think of your Bitcoin and Ethereum before it went proof of stake. It used a lot of mining power to run the network. And the XRP ledger is decentralized, run by a global network of 150 plus validators. And I actually think that Ripple, the company behind XRP, I think they only own about like 6 nodes, which is not a lot compared to the rest. And so yeah, why use XRP in the XRP ledger? Ripple uses XRP for instant cross-border payment settlements, sustainable for CBDCs, and has very powerful utility for developers. So yeah, an interesting thing about XRP I think a lot of central banks are gonna have CBDCs ran on the XRP ledger to basically do a lot of quick payments and quick settlements. All right, and this is another article from Ripple, and this is the ISO 20022 overview. The world is converging on a new global standard, ISO 20022, the de facto global data standard for modern payments. To help enable this step in global interoperability and meet the evolving needs of our customers, Ripple is now part of the ISO 20022 standards body, the first member focused on distributed ledger technology, or DLT. So yeah, Ripple is definitely playing a big role in this system, as you can see. So now I'm on the ISO 2022 group members list, and you see a lot of countries from different parts of the world, whether they're G7 or BRICS, which is actually pretty interesting to look at. Right here you have the DTCC, which is a blockchain company. They use blockchain for their business model. You have the European Central Bank, the European Payments Council, which are all partners with Ripple. Right here you have MasterCard, Swift, Visa, Bank of England, another Ripple partner, and then right here you have RippleNet itself, and we're gonna throw in Mojaloop, another Ripple partner. So you see Ripples everywhere on here, and there may be more that I missed. I just have no idea that they're Ripple partners already. Let's see what else. You have Bank of Australia, Unicredit, People's Bank of China, the Danish Bankers Association. What else? Bank of Japan, JP Morgan, Bank of Korea. Like, there's just so many people part of the system. Dutch Payments Association, the Swedish Standards Institute, and SWIFT, the Investment Association, JP Morgan we showed before, and Bloomberg. So yeah, it's a lot of people part of the system, and you see a lot of tension between sanctions and all that, but with ISO and distributed ledger technology, is basically going to remove all the borders. It's borderless and permissionless. So I can definitely see it playing a huge role, especially when more tensions arise. Like, it could be a solution to all this chaos. All right, so the next project we're going to talk about is Stellar. Stellar is an open network for storing and moving money. It's borderless, limitless, and powerful. Stellar makes it possible to create, send, and trade digital representations of all forms of money, such as dollars, pesos, Bitcoin, or pretty much anything. It's designed so all the world's financial systems can work together on a single network. And then we scroll down here. Basically on Stellar, you can build global payment apps. So leverage the many currency-backed tokens already on the Stellar network. You can build asset exchanges. Use Stellar's built-in decentralized exchange for crypto, forex, or securities. Users can swap between tokens using simple functions built in the protocol. So this picture right here, you can see that someone transferred a digital representation of Bitcoin for a digital representation of gold, all on the Stellar network. And lastly, you can build micropayment services. So power payments of any size with Stellar's low flat fees and fast transactions. So the thing about Stellar, it's a direct hard fork of XRP. So almost same settlement time and same transaction fees. So when you think of a hard fork, just literally think of like a hard copy, like a copy paste kind of thing. The next cryptocurrency we're going to talk about is Zenfin XDC. So Zenfin is a enterprise-ready hybrid blockchain for global trade and finance. Zenfin combines the power of public and private blockchains with interoperable smart contracts. So when you see hybrid, it's both public and private. So you would label that as a consortium. So I think that's really important. It can easily connect with all these public chains that I showed you before over here, and then also these as well. So a lot of money and liquidity, I think, is going to flow through this network. Decentralized, hybrid, interoperable, and liquid. Exchange Infinite, or XINFIN, is a delegated proof-of-stake consensus network, enabling hybrid relay bridges, instant block finality, and interoperability with ISO 20022 messaging standards, making XINFIN's hybrid architecture developer-friendly. And as you can see this chart, you can see the Gen 1 cryptocurrency Bitcoin, Gen 2 Ethereum, and then the new capabilities with Gen 3 on XINFIN. XINFIN can do up to 2,000 transactions per second. The fees are fractions of a penny per transaction. Settlement time, about 2 seconds. And it also supports smart contracts, same as Ethereum's capabilities. And it's very low in energy consumption. So yeah, I basically see this project as like a combination of XRP and Ethereum. You know, it's very efficient and very liquid like XRP, but it can also do the same capabilities as Ethereum with smart contracts. And the cool thing about this is it's EVM compatible. So basically anything you can build or store on Ethereum can be instantly transferred into the XINFIN network. All right, so real quick, this is the ISO 2002 page. So know more about the ISO 20022 standard with XINFIN. Disjoint systems and data can now interact using the XDC protocol and enable themselves with smart contracts for any kind of business logic, thereby eliminating any manual intervention or intermediary-driven communication between any two parties. Impel is a fintech innovator that uses blockchain technology to deliver financial messaging for ISO 2022 with optional collateral for instant settlements and a bridge to the R3 Quarter platform to future-facing banks and fintechs. I pulled up this tweet from Generation Infinity, and basically it's a chart of sending collateralized ISO messaging payments through Impel. So as you can see here, this client wants to send Bitcoin for an exchange for US dollars. So they first send the Bitcoin through Impel, and then it gets wrapped through the on-chain bridge. So it comes out as wrapped XBTC, and it turns into a XRC20 token. And this is the collateral payment right here. So it goes through the ISO financial messaging system right here. And the transaction only took 2 seconds just because it's on the XDC network. And then it settles to one of these ISO compliant institutions right here. So it's really simple. So think about adding assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum that may have very slow settlement times, or even like adding representation of precious metals. Like it's gonna really enhance global trade finance just through this one system right here. And then there's many more on XINFIN. I also want to clarify, I feel like a lot of people think that Bitcoin is ISO 2022, but that is not the case. It's only compatible through the XINFIN network. So your Bitcoin is technically ISO compliant through the Impel messaging system. So that, I just want to get that out the way for any like misunderstandings. Next up, we have an article from the Bank of Italy, and it states integrating DLTs with market infrastructures. Analysis and proof of concept for secure delivery versus payments between Treasury, inflated protected securities, and DLT platforms. The rise of a market for digital assets, both natively digital and those representing non-digital resources, is closely linked with the growing diffusion of distributed ledger technologies among investors. The increasing volume of transactions involving digital assets makes it worthwhile to investigate how central bank money can contribute to make the settlement safer and more efficient. So if I scroll down here, it talks about their proof of concept with Algorand. So their second proof of concept is named Treasury Inflated Protected Security Algorand, just-in-time locking. This takes advantage of the features offered by a specific DLT platform, Algorand. In particular, it leverages a native feature of the chosen DLT that simplifies delivery versus payment transactions, guaranteeing atomicity. As such, this approach needs the two systems to be directly connected to interact with each other. So yeah, that's what I was stating beforehand. The Bank of Italy is literally stating that they can integrate their current payment system, whether it's with securities or bonds, debt, whatever, they can add through a tokenized asset to make the system better. It's just going to make it more efficient if we really coincide with one another. And I think that narrative that, you know, there's going to be only decentralized, I don't think that's true. I truly believe that it's going to be one system together. Next article we got here is from the Federal Reserve, and this talks about the FedNow service. So the FedNow service, get ready for instant payments. Whether your organization is already on the instant payment path or just starting to plan your journey, we want to help you and your customers get ready for this exciting new change in payments. So the FedNow service is like our domestic payment service that you would only send money within the United States and, you know, nowhere else. And then you have the FedWire system, which is the more global cross-border payment system that I think is going live in 2024. And FedNow, I believe, is going live 2023. So it's coming up soon. And so we're going to go to the next part where they actually showcase the Cypherium blockchain, which is very underrated. Cypherium is ISO 20022 compliant as well. And I want to give a shout out to Lift Capital on YouTube. He always showcases Cypherium. He's been ahead. And yeah. So Cypherium is a blockchain platform for enabling faster payments and cross-platform interoperability through connecting banks, payment service providers, payment networks, and enterprises. Cypherium provides a seamless global payment experience. When information from banks enter the Cypherium blockchain, the Cypherium consensus algorithm performs the final validation of transactions, allowing any two organizations to clear the pending settlement between them. This saves financial organizations business flow, overall competitiveness, and the diversification of development activities. Cypherium supports decentralized ID and ISO 20022 messaging standards. So I'm going to quickly go to the Cypherium website just to give you like a brief overview. What is Cypherium? An instant ledger to process real-time transactions for billions of users. It's a smart contract platform to enable enterprise use cases for all industries. It's a trusted database to connect CBDCs, digital assets, and decentralized applications around the world. It's an open network to enfranchise any participant or contributor. And it's also a secure vault to combat the increasing threats to data privacy. So notice with all these blockchains, there are almost instant settlement times. They support smart contracts. They can connect with our current system we have now, and they can connect with other DLT platforms. And, you know, most of them are also pretty secure. Just notice the really big theme right here is interoperability, connecting with one another. It's definitely going to be, I think, the next best thing to look at when you're really researching a project. Because if you're using a network that doesn't really connect or help any other network, why would you want to use that one? Compared to someone that can really use their own efficient network and help enhance others. I really think that the ISO coins are gonna be spotlighted when utility really kicks in, and it just shows how early we are because these don't get talked about at all. Next up, we have another one of my personal favorites, which is Quant. So Quant, the future of finance today. Unlocking the power of blockchain for everyone. We deliver interoperable ecosystems and real-world solutions that lower costs, enable new businesses, and mitigate risks. In an empowered, interconnected world, we serve banks, asset managers, other financial institutions, enterprises, and the technology partners and fintech developers who support them. So here's actually like a nice graph of all the solutions that they solve. So They help solve the problem of capital markets for both physical and digital tokenized assets. They're actually very compliant with regulations, which is I think another theme that a lot of these blockchains are gonna face. You know, there's a lot of shady stuff going on in the space, and once there's real regulations and utility, I think those are going to be the ones that, you know, institutions are going to put their money in first. So next we have supply chain and trade finance, insurance companies, other digital currencies, whether they're public or private, and cross-border payment systems. So the cool thing about this graph, it really gives me a grasp of, you know, these actual solutions and then the other ISO coins. So look, when I see supply chain and trade finance, I think of IOTA for supply chain and XDC for trade finance. Insurance, you could throw all the other ISO coins in there to have like tokenized or documentation. Digital currency CBDCs, you know, that's the ISO coins that are interoperable with the systems. Cross-border payments, automatically think XLM and XRP. Capital markets, XRP, XLM, XDC, pretty much all of them. They all can tokenize assets and connect through capital markets to bring liquidity. So yeah, it's like seeing the solutions that each individual project brings, and then seeing how they all coincide with each other. And like I said before, Quant is going to be the one connecting everything. So this is going to play a huge role, and this is why it's one of my favorites. This is the last article we got. So it states Swift partners with Chainlink for cross-chain crypto transfer project. The project will connect Swift's network to nearly every blockchain to allow traditional finance players access to digital and traditional assets on one network. Interbank messaging system Swift has partnered with price oracle provider Chainlink to work on a proof of concept project which would allow traditional finance firms the ability to transact across blockchain networks. Okay, so Chainlink and Quant are like very similar. I know the main thing with Chainlink, they are about like data and like real-time price. So I mean, just because Chainlink is directly partnered off rip doesn't mean that Quant is going to be irrelevant. Like, they're each going to do their own specific thing to help the system better. So, because I saw a lot of people saying, oh, Chainlink is the one, so the ISO coins are relevant. That's the thing, Chainlink doesn't really solve the payment problem. That would be XRP and XLM. So, you know, that's the main thing I really want to like push to you guys. Interoperability. All these projects coming together to make the system better. It's not that Bitcoin is the best, Ethereum is the best. Like, no, like they all have individual use case and utility that can make the system better. Remember that. I really think there's going to be a change in the system because there's a lot of people that are one-sided and don't like to think outside the box. They're stuck in their one crypto project and that's it. And I really think there has to be a change like really soon. And once this all goes live, you're definitely going to see it. Alright, so that's the end of the video. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. I'm definitely going to be making more videos for you guys. My next video is most likely going to be on Bretton Woods 3, the BRICS nations, precious metals, and how they're going to coexist within each other with cryptocurrencies. Basically just highlighting how I think the economy is going to change and how we're going to have like a new way of living. Because I think it's important, you know, this may be information that doesn't get talked about and, you know, may help someone navigate once there is a change. So yeah, it's your boy Metapunk. Thank you for watching and I'm signing out.